All right, shalom, everyone. Shalom. This is Brother Ned coming to you this morning with another teaching. Okay. Y'all want to grab your pens and pencils and follow along with me today as we go along on this, on the last part of this flamingo today. Okay. We're going to start off with a few of our foundations, scriptures that will start us off, and then we'll get right into the flamingo. All right. All right, so first scripture we're going to start off with here is Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 31. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So already, again, God made everything, and behold, remember, it was very good. Okay? All right, let's pick it up over here at Romans, chapter 1, verse 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. Okay? So we're trying to understand the invisible things by the things that are made. Okay? Even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they, us, are without excuse. Okay? Let's roll over here to Sirach, the son of Ecclesiasticus. We're going to pick it up at chapter 39, verse 20, 39, verses 25 through 27. It says, for the good are good things created from the beginning. So, evil things for sinners. The principal things for the whole use of a man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly. Okay? They're good to the godly. So to the sinners, they are turned into evil. So we got to look at these things. All right? Let's go over here to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 2. Show you something over there. We're going to pick it up. Where did it go? 1 Corinthians chapter 2. We're going to pick up 12 and 13. It says, now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that we are freely, that are freely given to us. So these things that are clearly seen are free, is freely given to us. Okay. and which things we also speak, not in words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. So that's what we're going to be comparing, some spiritual things with spiritual, okay? Now, we're going to go roll over to Job. All right, Job, and we're going to pick it up chapter 37. Verse 14. Hearken, listen unto this, O Job, one ever returning to JEHOVAH. Being specific. Okay. Stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. So we're going to be comparing these spiritual things with spiritual. We're going to think on this. We're going to consider it. Okay. Meditate on it. Let's go over to Deuteronomy chapter 14. We're going to pick it up in verse 11 and 12. It says, of all clean birds ye shall eat, but these are they which ye shall not eat. Let's drop down to verse 18. It says, and the stork and the heron after her kind. We'll stop right there. So today, again, I'll be talking about the flamingo, but we're going to talk about specifically the feeding of the flamingo, right? So let's get into the background of this flamingo. So flamingos feed their babies with milk that is produced from their crop, okay? A crop is a muscular enlargement of the esophagus and a muscular pouch that stores food before it passes into the stomach. It's located in the front of the neck, above the sternum. When the crop is full, the bird's chest will bulge, so it'll puff up. The crop milk of the flamingos is high in protein and fat, and is stained in a red color. Okay, so remember, it's full of protein and it's fat. It's rich. Okay. The crop milk of the flamingos is strongly red in color due to the ground up and liquefied foods that the adults eat and store up in the crop. So remember from our last teaching, they only eat those crustaceans, crabs, little small fish, all these unclean things that have these carotenoids in them that stain everything red. Okay. Now, this milk is dripped into the baby's mouth from their parents. So we're going to get into that. So what we've done just like this flamingo. We've came up with our own doctrine. We've also perpetuated these lies generation after generation. We become proud knowing nothing about this lie. We didn't know anything, just straight lies, but we're proud about that. Also, we didn't suck the milk of the Gentiles, these heathens. That ain't the milk we supposed to be dealing with, y'all. This milk the flamingos are fed with is a milk from the chest or throat. It's part of that background. Didn't go to the stomach. It was never processed. It was unclean already, and didn't even consider it. Okay, so let's look into this. We're gonna roll over to Isaiah chapter 60. And let's see, Isaiah chapter 60. And we're gonna pick it up at verse 16. Sorry, Isaiah 60. We're going to pick it up at verse 16. It says, thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and thou shalt suck the breasts of kings, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. So he's telling us what we have done. We're going to do it. Why? Because we rejected his milk. We rejected his knowledge. It's only one way or the other. Either you're going to take the knowledge of the Most High, or you're going to be on the knowledge of these heathens, these vain people, these wicked and evil doers. Right? So let's look at this milk that these Gentiles and this breasts of these kings. Let's look at that. Let's go over here. Let's go back to Job. Pick up some information over with Job. Job gonna help us out. So we're gonna go to Job, chapter 21. We're gonna pick it up at verse 24. All right, here. So Job 21:24. His breasts are full of milk, and his bones are moistened with marrow. These breasts, his breasts. What does that mean? His bosom, his chest, paps, teats, milk, simplicity, nourish, basic teachings, nourishment, learning. Matter of fact, let's just to show it to you, let's go right over here. So we're gonna pull up these breasts. Right here. See? Breast, paps, bosom, teats. Also, we're gonna look at this. To nurse, a nourisher, to give suck at the breast. So this breast is what's holding this milk. It's like a vessel. Okay? So his breast, his vessels. Because remember I said we're gonna suck the breasts of kings. And then those breasts have milk of the Gentiles. So these vessels, we're gonna learn from, we're gonna get from those vessels, these unclean people, those kings, those rulers. Okay? Full of milk. Let's look at this milk. See, milk, simplicity, nurture, faith in faith, some basic teachings, fundamental principles, or introductory lessons in spiritual matters, elementary principles, sucking, spiritual nourishment, pure teachings, some learning. So this milk is some nourishment. Now this nourishment can either be to life, or you're gonna be nourished unto death. Okay. Let's look at this other word, bones. These bones. For the fact, let's do bone instead of bones. This bone. So this power, strength, unity, integrity, and kinsman. This bone, so it's some strength. And then This other word often there is moist. Moist. So to moisten, so to temper, to dewdrop, rain or ruin. So it's moistened, to ruin. And then the last word we're looking at is marrow. To make fat, to grease, a core, a heart, a substance. So let's go back and look at this scripture again. It says, his breasts, his vessels are full of milk, nourishment unto death, because they from these Gentiles. And his bones, his strength, are moistened, ruined with the substance thereof. So their strength is going to fail because it's ruined. And that's what the Most High said. We gonna ruin. Our strength is going it's gonna be weakened because there's no strength in that. The Most High is our strength. Okay, let's get a little more. Let's go over here to Romans. Romans chapter 3. We're gonna pick it up at verse 13, and we're gonna go down to verse 18. Romans chapter 3, right here. All the way down here to 18. That says, their throat, remember? Their milk stop right there in the esophagus, the throat. Then go into the stomach. It says their throat is an open sepulcher. With their tongues, their customs, their traditions, their cultural practices, they have used deceit. See, that ruin. The poison of asps is under their lips. Their mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet, their desire is swift to shed blood. They turn their lifestyles up. It says destruction and misery are in their ways. See, ruin. And the way of peace have they not known. See, the Most High don't deal with them. If you ain't rolling with him, he ain't dealing with you. He only chose one people. He dealing with them. Everybody else is a spittle. It says there is no fear, no desire of God before their eyes, their understanding. There's nothing you can get from them that's gonna benefit you. It's vanity, absolutely worth nothing. Let's pick up a little more over here in Proverbs. So Proverbs chapter 24. Pick it up at verse 2. It says, for their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. So that's all they study. The only thing that they know is destruction, is ruin. They don't study nothing else, remember? All the Flamingo did was pick up these unclean things. Nothing clean. So let's pick up a little bit more over here at Psalms. Go to Psalms 36. We're going to pick it up at verse 3. I'll read a little bit of 3 and a little bit of some of 4. So, the words of his mouth, them kings, them heathens, are iniquity, acts of sin. and deceit. It's telling us he had left off to be wise. They don't have no wisdom. They're wise in their own eyes. And to do good, that's good to them. But it's evil. Remember, he said them things that was created as evil to sinners, but they think it's good because they don't even know. They don't have a clue. He devises mischief on his bed, and he setteth himself in a way that is not good. See? And he hateth, abhorreth not evil. They love it. It's fun to them. It's exciting. That's how we were. That's what we did. That was us. It's fun to us. Let's get a little more over here in Matthew, chapter 12. We'll pick it up at verse 34 and 35. It says, "O ye generation." See? Generation was passing this lie down, generation to generation. You generation of vipers. How can ye, being evil, speak good things? You can't. How you gonna speak something good if you only learning evil? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. All this stuff we didn't gathered up, this uncleanness, this evil, wickedness. You don't speak nothing clean if it's all unclean. Can't speak nothing good if it's all evil. But see, a good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. You're storing up their wrong treasure. And how we can bring forth is that evil. We got to do right, y'all. We got to correct it. Go to Psalms. We're going to pick it up. Psalms chapter 5, verse 9. It says, "For there is no faithfulness in their mouth." None. It says their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat, here we go again, is an open sepulcher. And they flatter with the tongue. That make it seem like it's all good, y'all. Make it seem like it's real good. But it ain't. Let's go over to Proverbs chapter 16. I'll pick it up at 25. I'm going to read down to verse 30. Got most of it highlighted already. It says, "There is a way that seemeth right unto man." Seem right. "But the end thereof are the ways of death." That's saying it for us. "He that laboreth for himself, for his mouth craveth it of him. And an ungodly man diggeth up evil." Remember, I told you these flamingos with their feet, they digging around, knocking up all this unclean stuff, and then their tongue is swiping it up. And his lips, there is as a burning fire. "A forward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separated chief things. These murmurers, okay? The whisperers, the murmurers. A violent man enticeth his neighbor. So we teaching other folks and leadeth him into the way that is not good. He shutteth his eyes, his understanding. We can close that off. We done rejected that. To devise froward things. Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. Let's go over to 1 Timothy. Pick up a little more. 1 Timothy, we're going to go to chapter 6. We're going to read verse 4 and 5. Up. He is proud, knowing nothing, but dotting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth. See? Supposing that gain is godliness. We didn't gather up all this evil wickedness. Oh man, this we godly right here, y'all. Woo, look at all this stuff I got. We got puffed up with it. Chest a little puffed out, walking around. All vanity. We have become proud, y'all. Proud, haughty, arrogancy, lofty, vain. Our chest, our vessel, is puffed up, inflamed, swelled with vanity. Also, weakness, corruption. I'm going to leave that one for y'all to look up. How we swelled up this weakness and corruption. Think about that. Now let's look at how these flamingos are fed. Let's go over to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 5. Verse 3. Says, for the lips of a strange woman, strange spirit, drop as in honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Slick. Slick, y'all. Watch. We're gonna stay in Proverbs. We're gonna go over to chapter 17. We're gonna pick up verse 4. Right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Verse 4. It says, a wicked doer giveth heed to false lips. We just came from over there and said the lips of the strange woman drop as a honeycomb. And then a wicked doer give heed to the false lips. So it's telling us we wicked because we fall into the strange woman. And then it says, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. Perpetuating a lie. And we just giving ear to a naughty tongue, these customs, these languages, these cultural practices. Let's pick up a little bit more right here in Lamentations. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 5. What we doing? How we've been fed. Says they did feed delicately. They did feed delicately. Or what? Or desolate in the streets. Feed from this honeycomb of this strange woman. It says they that are brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills. Scarlet, red, sin. Remember? This crop milk is stained. This milk is red because of the carotenoids in the food that they eat. Same thing is telling us right here. They dropping that sin doctrine. Dropping it on us like a honeycomb. We think it's sweet, smooth, slick. We gobbling it up. But it's a dunghill. We're going to go back over to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 18. Pick it up at verse 20. It says, a man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit, the works. So a man's belly, his desire shall be satisfied with the works of his mouth. Remember them kings and them heathens, them Gentiles. And with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. They just increasing and increasing on us all of this foolishness. We taking it in just like them kings and them heathens. Let's go over to Job. We're going to pick up at Job chapter 11. Job 11, verse 4. Remember, we puffed up, y'all. Puffed up. Uh-oh. There we go. Bear with me. It says, for thou hast said, us, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes. What? Our own doctrine. Hey, man, this right. I don't know what y'all talking about over there. This. I like this. Gain is godliness. That's us. Thought it was good. We puffed up. We being on the trying to be on the level of God. So these flamingos only have unclean, defiled milk that it feeds to the young. That's it. That's all they have. Now God feeds us only pure, undefiled, clean doctrine. Okay? Let's take a look at that. We'll look at this flip side. We can go to Psalms chapter 12, verse 6. That was right there. That's not right. Hold on one second. Yeah, hold on one second. That's not the right one. Let me see if I can find the right one. That's not the right scripture, y'all. Bear with me just one second. Oh, that's why. There we go. We're going to go to Psalms, not Proverbs. Took me a second. I'm like, man, something is going on here. Operator error. It's all right. We got it. All right. It says the words of the Spirit of God are pure words. Pure. Comparing as silver tried in the furnace of the earth, purified 7 times to complete, till all the dross is gone. Completely pure. Okay. Let's go to Psalms 19. We're gonna go 8 through 11. Well, let's see, Psalm 19. 8. Yep, here it is. 8 through 11. It says, the statutes of the Lord, the Spirit of God, are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Spirit of God is pure, enlightening the eyes, the understanding. The fear, the desire of the Lord is clean, the enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. Okay. More to be desired are they than gold, men, yea, than much fine gold. Okay. Sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Remember, it said that strange woman dropped like that honeycomb. See this? The word of this most highest is sweeter. Also than honey and the honeycomb. It's better. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned. Oh. And in keeping of them, there is a great reward. When we talked about that reward last time, we don't want that reward of that evildoer, the wicked one. We want the reward of the righteous. Let's go to 1 Peter. Tell you what, let's close this right here. Then we'll go to the 1 Peter. There we go. Oh, got another one open. All right, 1 Peter. We'll pick it up at chapter 2. We're going to do verse 1 and 2. Oh. Try to see. Oh. Well, I'm just not doing right now. It says, wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and evil speakings, we're feeding as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word from the Spirit of God, that us may grow thereby. We want to grow by the word of the Most High, not the word of that strange woman. Okay. Let's go to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras, chapter 8. We're going to do verse 10 and 11. It says, for thou hast commanded out of the parts of the body, that is to say, out of the breasts, milk to be given, which is the fruit of the breast, the works of those vessels. It's going to be given, that the thing, us, which is fashioned, may be nourished for a time, till thou disposest it to thy mercy. So he created the breast to give us milk. He gonna give us pastors according to his heart that's gonna feed us with his word. Let's go over to Proverbs. Let's see why. Let's see why he gonna give us that. It's important. Proverbs. We're gonna go chapter 8. Chapter 8, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 21. There we go. All right. It says that I may cause those that love me, promise him, to inherit substance. And I will fill their treasures. He breaking us down. Watch this. We're gonna go back over here. We're gonna go to the same scripture in Job, but now we're gonna read it on the flip side. We're gonna go to Job 21 and 24. It says, his breasts, his vessels, full of milk, simplicity. But you know what? Let me go back to that milk again. Let's go back to that milk, because I got to show it to you. Milk, simplicity, nurture, faith, basic teachings, fundamental principles, spiritual nourishment, pure teachings. His vessels are full of pure teachings because it's his word. And he says, and his bones, their strength, will be moistened, tempered, made with marrow. These substances, these principles, these learning customs, these pure ways. And then watch how he gonna do it. He done flip the script. Because we seen that strange woman that had that dropping that like honeycomb, right? Let's look like the Most High do. Well, Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 2. It says, my doctrine shall drop as the rain. Think about that, as the rain. And my speech shall distill as the dew. So he ain't only dropping it, it's forming. As the small rain upon the tender herb, as the showers upon the grass. Let's go to Psalms 119. Psalms 119. We're with Psalms 119. We're going to pick it up at verse 73. 119 and 73. Excuse me. It says, thy hands, thy power have made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn thy commandments. So he made the breast, these vessels, to give us milk. We fashioned. We want this understanding that we may learn. That's how we got to be. He already set it up. We gotta want it. We can't want the other stuff. We gotta desire him, his words, his understanding, his wisdom. Okay? Now, it's a warning. This is a warning. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 30. Chapter 30, verse 1 and 2. Uh-oh. Let me try that again. It says, woe unto the rebellious children, saith the Lord. Woe, that take counsel, but not of me. Uh-oh. He said, not of me. That strange woman taking counsel over there. It says, and cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, bondage, confusion, and have not asked at my mouth. His priests, his prophets, they're supposed to hold that knowledge. We're going to get to that. To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, king of sin, and trust in the shadow of Egypt. You know what? Let's pick up one more. Verse 3. It says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh, the king of sin, be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. We need to take heed to that warning. Because he warned us for a reason. Let's go over here to Psalms chapter 12. We're going to pick it up at verse 4. Psalms 12, verse 4. It says, who have said with their tongue, will we prevail? Our lips are our own. Who is the Lord over us? Because they were trusting in that confusion, trusting in Pharaoh. Let's look at verse 2. It says, they speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. He warned us. That's what he was doing. Let's go over to Isaiah. This example is what we were doing, Isaiah 59. We got to take heed to the warning, y'all. Isaiah 59. We're going to pick up verse 3 and 4. Get over here too. All right, so it says, for your hands, your power are defiled with blood, this lifestyle, and your fingers, your strength, with iniquity, acts of sin. Your lips have spoken lies. Your tongue hath muttered perverseness. None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. Putting our trust in Egypt, in Pharaoh. Let's go to James. James gonna give us a little more reason why he was giving us this warning. James chapter 3. I'm gonna pick it up at verse 10, roll down to verse 12. It says, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not be so. Doth the fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? It's a question. Say, can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either a vine figs. So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh? We're going to pick up some more about this warning, why he gave us this warning. We're going to go over to Sirach, chapter 20, some Ecclesiasticus. We're going to pick it up at verse 24. It says, a lie is a foul blot in a man. It's a blemish. Yet it is continually in the mouth of the untaught. Can't do that. Look at this. Let's look at verse 19. It says, an unseasonable tale will always be in the mouth of the unwise. Trusting in that Egypt, y'all, can't be perpetuating this lie. Let's go to Micah chapter 6. We're going to pick up a little more. To Micah chapter 6. We're going to pick it up at verse 10. We're going to read down to 14. It's right here. It says, are there yet the treasures of the wickedness? Sorry, are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked? And the scant measure that is abominable? Shall I count them pure with the wicked balances? Wicked balances. With the bag and with the bag of deceitful weights? So you want an unjust balance so you can be pure? Remember we said, oh, our doctrine is pure. Ain't no way. It says, for the rich men thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. Therefore also will I make thee sick, and smiting thee, and making thee desolate, because of thy sins. Thou shalt eat and not be satisfied. Be puffed up, but empty. Ain't that something else? Full and empty at the same time. And thy casting down shall be in the midst of thee, and thou shalt take hold, but shalt not deliver. And that which thou deliverest will I give up to the sword. We got to take heed to this warning. We're gonna stay right here. Actually, we're gonna go over to Sirach again. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 21. We're gonna do 17 through 19. It says, they inquire at the mouth of the wise man in the congregation. They didn't say he had wisdom. and they shall ponder at his words in their heart. Can't be trusted in Egypt. As a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool. And the knowledge of the unwise is as talk without sense. Confusion. Doctrine unto fools is as fetters on the feet, and like manacles on the right hand. Let's pick up some more. We're going to go over to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 10. We're gonna roll backwards on this. We're gonna read 15 up to verse 13. Verse 15. The labor of the foolish wearieth every one of them. Why is it wearying? Because he knoweth not how to go to the city. He's trying to go to Babylon, and he's worried, and he don't even know how to get there. There ain't even a place to go. It says, a fool also is full of words. A man cannot tell what shall be, and what shall be after him. Who can tell him? It says, the beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is mischievous madness. Trying to put his trust in Egypt, can't find it, and then he just babbling. Can't figure it out. That ain't where your trust supposed to be. And this got worse and worse for him. Didn't it get better? Because they was confused. Let's see why they was confused. Why was they confused? Let's pick up Proverbs chapter 22. See what we was listening to. Why we just was confused about all of this. See what we was listening to. It says the mouth of a strange woman, that strange woman again, is a deep pit. And he that is abhorred, hated of the Spirit of God shall fall therein. We fell right into the confusion. Because we didn't promise the Most High. We didn't love him. We hated him. Let's go to Proverbs. Well, stay in Proverbs. We're going to go to chapter 19. We're going to pick up at verse 28. Let's make sure. Yep, 28. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment. Let's look that up right quick. Mock, ridicule, taunt, deride. Mocker wisdom, pride, arrogancy, ignorant. Even better. Despise, rejected, loathe. So they loathe, despise doctrine and teaching. And the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Acts of sin. We got in the pit because we hated the judgment. We loathed it. We set it up for ourselves. We dug our own pit. That's how we got in the pit, because we weren't listening. Let's stay in Proverbs. We're gonna go over to chapter 18. We're gonna pick up verse 6. Verse 6 through 7. It says, a fool's lips enter into contention. Didn't he say he was gonna scorn judgment? And his mouth calleth for sore strokes. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare to his soul. I just said we got in the pit. We did it to ourselves. He warned us. We got to take heed to the warning. We're going to go to Proverbs chapter 15. We're on verse 28. We're going to get it. Says, the heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poured out evil things. Let's get some on Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 12 and 14. Sorry, 12 through 14. It says, a naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes. He speaketh with his feet, his desires. He teacheth with his fingers, his strength. Forwardness is in the heart. Forwardness is in his heart. He devises mischief continually. He soweth discord. That's why we got that warning. Let's pick up some over here in Psalms. Psalms 144, chapter 144. Okay. I'm gonna pick it up at verse 8. Whose mouth speaketh vanity, emptiness, and their right hand, they thought it was good, is a right hand of falsehood. They pout. False. It's confusion. What else? Let's go to chapter 73 of Psalms. Psalm 73, we're going to pick it up at verse 9. Look at that. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue, their customs, their ways, their traditions, cultural practices, liveth through the earth. They ain't seeking nothing of the Most High. We're going to pick up a little more on Psalms. Let's go over to Psalms 50. Psalms 50, verse 19. It says, thou givest thy mouth to do evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. We didn't build it all up. Woo, I told you we was in that. We dug the pit. We dug it. We framed it up. We measured it out. Fell right on in. Let's pick up some more in Psalms. We're going to Psalms 36, 3 and 4. I'm going to reiterate this one. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He has left off to be wise and to do good. He devised mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good, and he hateth not evil. Okay. We're going to go over to Psalms 10, verse 7. Again, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, and under his tongue, mischief and vanity. Okay. You gotta leave that alone, y'all. So what are we supposed to be doing? What's supposed to be going on? All right. Let's go to Sirach. Ecclesiasticus. We're gonna pick it up chapter 16. Chapter 16, 24 and 25. Says, my son, gotta do right to be called his son. Come on. Hearken unto me. Learn knowledge and mark my words with thy heart. He said, I will show forth doctrine in weight and declare his knowledge exactly. We hearken, and then we got to show forth the doctrine. Okay? Hearken, learn the knowledge, and then we show it. Exactly. Okay? Exactly. Baruch 3 and 4. Sorry, Baruch 3 and 14. Says, learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where length of days and life, see, everlasting life, where the light of the eyes, the understanding of the eyes, okay, and peace. Let's go over here to Sirach chapter 17, Ecclesiasticus 17, 11 and 12. That's how it's supposed to be. It says, besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. Can't give the heritage up, y'all. He gave it to us. He made an everlasting covenant with them and showed them his judgments. You got to learn where that wisdom is, where the strength is, where understanding is. Then we're going to make that. He gonna give us all of that. He make a covenant. Okay. Let's go over here to Hosea 2. Hosea chapter 2. Hosea 2. 17 through 20. Okay. It says, for I will take away the names, the ways of Balaam out of their mouth. Because we learn where knowledge and wisdom is. And he gave us doctrines and teachings. So he said, I will take away the ways of Balaam out of their mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name, by their way. And in that day, I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the fields and with the fowls of heaven and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and I will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment, doctrines and teachings, and in loving kindness and mercies. Remember, he said he was going to feed us that milk. He formed us. He's going to feed us that milk until that mercy. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord, the Spirit of God. We going to know him. I want that. So I should be. What else? We got some stuff we got to do. Let's go for the Psalms 34. Psalms 34, verse 13 and 14 says, keep thy tongue, thy ways, customs, traditions, cultural practices from evil, and thy lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Ephesians. Ephesians. Chapter 4, 29. Chapter 4, verse 29. It says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Because we learn what his wisdom and knowledge is. We can't hold it in. We got to share this. The right, the righteousness, the good, not the evil. We got to share nothing corrupt. Okay? We can go back over here to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 31. 31. I'm going to pick it up in verse 8 and 9. 8 and 9. Open thy mouth for the dumb, and the cause of all such are appointed to destruction. Let me read that again. Open thy mouth for the dumb, and the cause of all such as comparing are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge, teach righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and the needy. We got some work to put in, the right work. Let's go for the Malachi. I'm sorry, Malachi. Malachi chapter 2. Because we're supposed to be doing. It says, for the priest's lips should keep knowledge. It's supposed to be in us. And they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Spirit of God of hosts. He said he was going to give us pastors according to his heart. We got to keep that knowledge so it can be sought after. We got to study. Can't be empty. Okay? Still got to put in some work. Gonna go over here to Ezekiel. We do right. We got to do right. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 33. We'll pick it up in verse 7 and 8. All right, 7 and 8. It says, So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, for that reason, thou shalt hear the word at my mouth. Go hear the word of the Most High. And warn them from me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die. If thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, in his acts of sins. His blood, his lifestyle, will I, God, require at thy hand, at your power, because we're supposed to share it with him. Supposed to keep the pure doctrine and share that. Okay? In conclusion, got a couple of scriptures right here. Close this out. Isaiah chapter 59. Verse 21. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith the Lord. My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed. So, generation to generation, it's not going to pass out of thy mouth or thy seeds, nor out of the mouth of thy seed. Clarify, said the Lord, from henceforth and forever. Ain't no getting around it. Said the priest lips supposed to keep that law, to keep that knowledge, generation to generation. Malachi chapter 2. Right back over there to Malachi chapter 2. Verse 6. The law of the truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and in equity, and did turn away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. So we got work to put in, y'all. Can't be doing like these flamingos, perpetuating this lie and keeping that going from generation to generation. He gonna pass us right over. We got to pass down our heritage, this law of life, the purity, not the defilement. Can't continue to be like these flamingos. This example. Okay. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Again, this is Brother Ned. I want to give everyone a shalom. Shalom, everyone.